So if you don't know, my name is Rich. I am the developer for this game called Hyperstrike. Hyperstrike is a on-rails shooter akin to kind of like Star Fox, but it's going to have some rogue elements, be a little bit more bullet hell and twin stick, although you can use one stick just fine. So let's see, this week added some new flying enemies, created a new pause screen, did some rain effects. I made this whole planet scenario, I guess you could say, as well. I redid the projectile system. So before, the projectile system was just a very simple instantiating your projectile and shooting it, and then it gets destroyed. So I have since switched to a pooling system. So what I do in the beginning is create 100 projectiles, 100 of your main projectile. And then when you go to shoot, it queues up one of those projectiles, enables it, turns it on, puts it in position, shoots it. When it hits something, instead of destroying itself, it just turns itself off. It seems to be working. There are a couple of glitches. Every now and then the projectile will bounce off of something and not disappear. I haven't tracked that down yet. It doesn't happen very often, but it happens a little bit. And because it's so rare, I haven't been able to figure out exactly what the situation is that causes it to happen. So that was a kind of a big deal, getting projectile pooling in place. I also went through a lot of the menus and made sure that all the menus were compatible with a controller. So when you hit pause, it selected your first item in that pause screen, or if you're on a main menu, when you start switching screens around, that your selections are correct, that it goes and it feels natural where your cursor goes when you're moving around with a controller. So that was all this week. There's a ton of stuff that I've done in the last couple of weeks. I think one of the big things that I just did recently, as recent as yesterday, was start adding in audio. I was taking a while to do this because I needed some audio assets in order to do audio. I was talking with a really good artist on SoundCloud. His name is Kick Puncher, and he's agreed to let me use some of his tracks for the game, so I got some music going on. But you also need sound effects, and I have a couple asset packs for that. However, I'm not too happy with them. I have a sound for the main gun now, and I have a couple other sounds. I need some more ambiance. I have an engine sound, so I'm getting there. I have all my mixers set up and all that stuff as well. Started getting that going. I should have probably started this process a lot sooner, because it is a lot of work. We need, interface sounds. You need general Foley for just whatever you're doing. Probably sounds for. So I have a sound for the engine, and when the craft moves, that sound changes because it's in 3D space. But if you make a hard turn or something, there's no sound happening that you would normally expect to hear. So there's little things that need to be added. If you do that throughout the process of game dev, it's not as big as just doing it all at once, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm getting a whole chunk of that out of the way and moving in. So right now I have, master music channel, a background music channel, and sound effects. Right now I'm using sound effects for ambiance and background music for your general in-level music, and then regular music for your menus. And that's about it so far on what I did just this week.